Okay, so today we're gonna bake. Peter is game enough to bake with me. We're making orange cardamom scones from my cookbook Orange Appeal. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that and put it in the oven and then sit down and we'll have a little bit of time while it's baking to talk. So I know that we both prepped all of our stuff. These are really, really fast to put together. Have you ever, if you don't make a mistake, and I'll explain to you the mistake I made this morning when I was running through the recipe very briefly, but have you ever made scones before?
No, this is the first time. So I will hopefully not screw it up too badly.
No, you're going to see how easy it is. Did you get up here? Okay, so it's very easy. You just put all of your dry ingredients in a big bowl.
Okay, so
Oops, I gotta find my recipe first.
let's see, I've got the
Okay, so 3 cups flour. Oops.
Yeah, it's funny, one of the
Out.
things I started doing only very recently was using a scale to actually weigh ingredients, rather than trying to go half cup, quarter cup, but just it makes it, for me at least, a lot easier and more precise to just weigh it out. And so, obviously you need a scale to do that, but I've been pleased with the experience of weighing my ingredients rather than trying to measure them out. Let's see, baking
Well,
powder,
what's great about weighing it is that you can put your mix, if you know all of your dry ingredients are going into one bowl, you can just like weigh one, reset it to 0, weigh the next one, reset it to 0. Okay, so we have, let's see, we have flour, we have powdered, you found powdered milk?
I did. It was
Good.
funny. I went and I actually found cake flour in the back of the pantry, and I said, "Oh, great! I don't need to get it." And I looked at the expiration date of 2013, and I said, "No, I do need to get it." So I got some of that, and then also picked up some powdered milk. So let's see. I'm measuring out the 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Okay, yes. Baking soda as well. Salt. Cardamom. I have dried cardamom. I think you grated fresh.
I did. I had green cardamom, and I wasn't sure if that was the same as regular kind of when you buy ground cardamom, if it's the same. So I just went with the ground cardamom because I didn't want to risk that.
And that's a very good question. Oh, and don't forget to add your sugar.
Half baking soda.
And I have an orange zester. Full of zest.
So baking powder, baking.
Are you familiar with these really cool? Are you familiar with these really cool zesters?
No, I have. So I've got just a regular microplane, and I'll try and get a video. So yeah, so let me see. I'll show you what I've got here. This is mine, just a little microplane.
Oh, okay. Because this
and
one
then I've got
is. Look what this one does. This one has a thing that catches
the fantastic.
zest.
So you can just catch it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's really neat.
And since you're going to start making all the recipes in my cookbook, you're going to need one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So salt. Did I do salt yet? Salt is here. Cardamom, sugar, and the zest.
Yeah.
Cardamom.
Okay, for the audience,
Sugar.
it's 3 cups cake flour, a 1/4 cup powdered milk or powdered buttermilk. In a pinch, you can probably replace it with a 1/4 cup fresh milk, or buttermilk. But I buy a box of powdered milk like once every 5 years, and it never goes bad. There's baking powder, baking soda, salt, ground cardamom, sugar, and I put my zest in, and then I whisk it because that gets it all together. Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. I know you said in the whisking instructions to make sure to take out the clumps of the zest. Is there any particular way to add the zest to sort of declump it or avoid clumps in the beginning, or just kind of spread it out as best you can.
Well, I whisk my dry ingredients together with a whisk.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to take the zest right now with my
And
fingers.
that usually breaks up the zest. But you know what I started doing this year actually is adding
Yep. I've
just
got that too.
take a whisk and just
I
whisk it,
dumped
and
in the
it
zest,
should break
so
it
now
up.
I'm gonna whisk it
But
up. Perfect.
what I started doing this year, in fact, was adding it to my liquid ingredients. Because it breaks up, it kind of not dissolves, but it breaks up in the liquid ingredients, which I don't know why I never did it before.
Well, it's mixing well right here, so
Okay.
we've got... All right.
So I did a test run of this recipe just to double check this morning, because I often use a different recipe for scones, and I was kind of pulling it into a dough after I put the liquid ingredients in it and thinking, it's awfully dry. And I studied the recipe for like 5 minutes and realized I had forgot to add the butter.
Ah,
So don't forget to add the butter.
add the butter. Okay, my dry ingredients are mixed. So,
So
I
if you
guess
have
now
all of your dry
add the
ingredients
butter now?
down to your zest in, yeah. Add your cubes of butter. You've cubed your butter, right? Yeah. Okay, add it to the
Yep,
dry.
butter is cubed and in the fridge.
And kind of loosely dump them in so they don't go in one clump. And then toss them, before we start to work them in, toss them in the flour from the bottom to kind of
Okay,
coat
toss
them so the cubes stay
Okay.
separate.
Okay. How I got these down to about sugar cube size. Is that the cubing size that you want? Bigger, smaller?
I usually do a little, sugar cube size. Oh, yeah. That's
Because I just
yeah.
took a stick, I cut it lengthwise in half, and then I took those two halves, cut them in half again, and then just laid those 4 little strips and just went
Oh,
down the line
right.
with a knife. So
Right, you
sorry.
guys have sticks of butter over there. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
good.
no, and it's right. It's and that was it was funny too. And we were talking at some point about just the particularly during COVID, which you're mentioning in the run up about sometimes when you go out and you want to cook, but you don't have all the ingredients aren't available. The brands certainly that you want or familiar with aren't there, or entire types of things aren't there, and so how that adjusts what you're cooking based on the scarcity or availability of whatever happens to be in stock was a very, again, I think was part of that COVID baking experience that felt very, it reminded me a lot of, growing up overseas, certainly in some of the developing world where some things were always in abundance, some things you could never find, and how that adjusts what you make. Okay, so because I'm poor at both talking and cooking, I'm going to stop talking and start tossing my butter cubes before they get warm here.
Okay, then have you ever rubbed butter into flour
Nope.
to make pie crust? Okay, I'm going to turn my computer screen down so you can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
So you're going to look to see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put your palms up. Let's see if I can do this better. Your palms up, and you're going to go underneath because you want to make sure the butter gets rubbed in all the flours, that you don't have like a pocket of flour on the bottom. So you just basically, what you're going to be doing is pushing your butter and flour together with your thumbs
Okay.
and forefingers. And just keep moving it around. So you're
Nice.
just going to keep scooping up from the bottom
This is going to take a little
and
bit of
rubbing,
time.
pushing the butter. Yeah, kind of pushing the butter
How
with your thumbs. No, you'll be surprised.
So when I'm hitting a cube of butter, should I essentially just squeeze it a little bit by bit, or should I take it and just kind of push it all the way down each chunk as I go through it?
Oh no,
Yep.
squeeze it. Look,
Mhm.
look. Watch.
Got it.
So okay, I
Okay.
just squeeze it. I just squeeze and rub. So you're squeezing it and you're rubbing the flour into your butter cubes and kind of squishing your.
Okay. Okay.
You can be a little violent with this.
Yeah, just
So
I saw
it's a
later
good,
not to
it's good to
over
get the
over
stress
mix it,
out.
but that's later on, so I don't need to worry about that at this point.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because when you do this process for pie crust, but a lot of times in pie, when you're doing a regular pie crust, not like a cookie pie crust, when you're doing a regular pie crust, you want to leave little chunks of, like pea-sized chunks of butter left in your crust, because that makes it
Okay.
crispy. But
So
here
I
you
don't
wanna
want
kind
if
of rub
I'm
it
if
all
I'm
in.
feeling those
And
little
see,
pea-sized
I'm
bits, I want to get rid of those. I want all that out. Okay. Yep.
Just push it, yeah. Just push it with your thumb into your fingers, yep. And just keep pulling it up from the bottom. You'll see, well, I don't know what color your butter is actually. So mine's turning kind of a, it ends up looking like sand on the beach.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that sandy texture is coming. And it wasn't,
Yes.
and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
just like it, all of a sudden there's the sand. So.
Right.
All right, I still have a ton of little bits, so let me just keep working that out,
Yeah.
because otherwise...
Right, right. I will admit something terrible. I cheat. I buy, in France they sell a butter called beurre tendre, which is tender butter, which must have a little extra water or something in it. It's one of those butters that never gets rock hard, like regular butter in the fridge. So it softens really, really quickly when you're rubbing it and stuff like that. So that's my like little cheat thing. And I should never admit that out loud.
Now, is there a blender or mixer that will do this effectively, or not really?
You know, I don't know, because I don't have a blender or a mixer. I've always done stuff by hand just because I like doing it by hand, because I feel like I have more control. But because I like to feel the way it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you get used to knowing when you do something enough, you know what it's supposed to feel like when it's turning out right.
Got it.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But I don't know. I don't. If this movement itself, you might be able to do it in like a robot kind of food processor. I'm sure people do, but mine's already done, so it takes literally like 4 or 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If it's your first, it's
I'm
okay. It's perfectly okay.
Yeah, no, this is the first time like doing this with the. So I think I'm there. I just worry. What I'm worried about is like, is there a hidden little bit of butter that I haven't?
No, don't
kind
worry
of
about
crushed
it.
down?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
No,
Good.
don't
All
worry
right,
about
I think
it.
I am. I think I'm.
I can't.
done.
I can't see yours, so I don't know what it looks
Hold
like.
on.
so-
I will. What I'm going to do is rinse off my hands, and then I will take one of them and show you on the camera here. Stand by.
It's one of those. It's a really simple, basic technique that takes a few tries to. Oh yeah, see, it looks just like mine,
So,
doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. I think that's, and it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's almost,
Looks just like mine.
yeah. It's like it's exactly what you said. It feels like a kind of a wet sand, but not. It's not
Right.
clumpy, which is interesting. It's almost like an almond flour. It's a
Exactly.
moist, thick, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Oh, that's a better way to describe it than sand on the beach. No, but it's one of those techniques that, you practice 3 or 4 times and then you've got it down. You can do it while you sleep, basically.
All right. So that set
Okay.
this aside now, right?
Okay. So now, yeah, set that aside, and you have a 1/2 cup of milk.
I do.
Okay. What size? Let me see your measuring cup.
It's
That's
a
fancy.
little 1 cup.
Okay,
measure.
that's perfect. So, do you have a
Because
whisk?
I juiced my orange into my 2 cup. I do have a whisk.
Okay, it
I
looks
can
like
either
maybe-
use the one I just used or a fresh one. Does it matter if it has little remnants of
No,
the
no,
flour
no,
and
no, no.
things? Okay.
I'm using the same one. So
Okay.
basically, to avoid like pouring all your wet ingredients into another bowl just to whisk them together, if your measuring cup is big enough, which it is, you can just do it all together in your measuring cup. But
Oh,
it looks
okay.
like you have more orange there than orange juice. You just need 4 tablespoons.
Yeah, right. I juiced it straight into the measuring cup,
Okay.
and then I was going to pour out the tablespoons out of that.
Okay, so I turned my camera down again, so I'm just adding the egg.
Actually, I can...
To the milk. And then I'm going to wait to do
thing.
this when you're done.
So egg to the milk, and this is the whole egg. We're going to do the egg white comes later for the glaze.
The egg white is later. That's to brush the outside for like a crispy top.
Okay. Egg is in.
So just put your one egg in your whole egg, right? Your whole egg in your half a cup of milk.
Milk is there.
Unfortunately,
Juices, how many? 4 tablespoons?
4
juice?
tablespoons,
How much juice
yeah.
do we do? Okay.
4 tablespoons. I think I have 4 tablespoons here. Whisk it, whisk it, whisk it. And then add, unfortunately I don't have orange extract because, like I said, I tested the recipe this morning and I poured my, talk about very old, it was from 2011, orange extract into the orange juice to blend it, and it fizzed up.
Ah!
And so I thought, like the clever person I am, I tasted it, and it's not the thing to do. So I only have vanilla extract.
Okay, so I have my vanilla and I did not have orange extract, so I bought some yesterday, so hopefully that is definitely still good. So
Good,
1
that'll just
teaspoon
reinforce the flavor a little bit.
vanilla and half of... Well, there we go.
Okay, then I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this. I can get rid of everything. Your oven is preheated, correct? Good.
It is, and that's as you're talking about clearing it, that's another thing I learned very late in life, both the value of prepping in advance and then kind of cleaning as you go, and just the whole sort of idea of mise en place and how much easier that makes everything from prep to cooking to clean up if you do it as you go along. Okay, so I have egg, milk,
that's
juice,
a question
vanilla.
I have for you later, in fact. Okay, so
Great.
yeah.
Okay, so whisk it. I'm whisking it just enough to combine it. I'm not looking to aerate it or anything like that.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Now, I usually add it to my dry ingredients in like 2 or 3 additions, just so it, like maybe 2, just so I like pour some on top and start to mix it with a fork, and then I'll add the rest on top of the dry on the bottom as it comes up.
Now, why you're using a fork rather than a whisk? Why?
Because the whisk, it'll just get clumped inside the tines of the whisk, and you'll have to use your fingers to try and push it out.
Got it. Okay, let me get a fork.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm adding the rest of mine. And just, again, you can kind of vigorously use your fork to stir up and make sure you get all of your flour wet. And you're going to start to see, the more you stir with your fork and scrape in your dry, that it's going to form into a dough. A little wet dough, but a dough.
Okay, I have done this. I have all of my wet added in.
Okay, and you just want to stir it until, all of the dry is completely wet. Ugh. There, mine's good enough. It's kind of wet. And I have a bench scraper.
Yeah, I think I may have the same one. Color even. Is yours yellow or green?
Yeah.
Hey, these are awesome. Again, all credit to my wife and daughter who do much more cooking than I do, but
Well, I have 3 actually, and I have this one, which is kind of souple. I don't even know how to say that in English anymore. Like this, that you can bend it a little, so you can it takes the curve of the bowl.
Yes.
And then I have one of these, which is for when you're making dough.
Oh, to do the firm cut between the
cut, or scraping your cutting board or your work surface. Yeah.
Now here, look at this. Mine is that it is all wet, but it's got distinct big clumps. Do I want it in
Yeah.
one large clump or?
Mine looks like this. I have a hard time seeing. Mine is like this.
Yeah. Okay. We're similar.
Yeah, it's smooth. I mean, there's no lumps of, but it's it's
Right. But it's in
like,
kind of these big, you know. It's not one smooth, big loaf. It's kind of looks like.
it's not supposed to look
thick
like like a bread dough. Yeah, it won't be a bread dough.
Okay.
It'll be
Yeah.
wetter than a bread
All right.
dough, but it is kind of wet but firm. So it's kind
Okay.
of so.
Now it's mixed,
So-
and I'm going to stop messing with it because I fear I don't want to over.
Yeah, that's where you don't want
Mix
to
it.
overstir. You just want to, as long as it's all of your dry ingredients are moistened and it's kind of gathered, all sticks together into a
Yes.
clump. So you have a
It's
work
really
surface.
sticky. Mhm.
Yeah, it is sticky, but that'll be okay. So you're going to take some flour and you're going to flour your work surface.
Now, question for you. I have a. It's not. It's like a natural stone countertop, and I've got a wooden cutting board on top of that. Am I going to have an easier time flouring the wooden cutting board and working on that, or going with the stone top?
I used to work on my stone. You know what? I think that the wood might be easier. In fact, I used
Okay.
to have a stone. I used to have a stone top and did everything on that, but now I strictly use my cutting board. Just make sure that it's here. You can see how much flour I put on it. Can you see that?
Oh wow, yeah, quite a bit. Okay,
Just like a handful.
okay, but yeah.
And then you're just gonna use your magical bench scraper and scrape all the dough out. Yeah, it's because I've added orange juice to this recipe. It is a little bit slightly wetter than my regular scone recipe, but we just add a little flour as we form it into a ball, as we form it into a, yeah,
Okay.
I hope.
This is my worry where the train comes completely off the rails here. So we will see. All right, I have my surface floured, and let's get this up.
Okay, once you have
And I just want to. So what? Show me what you have. You have it. You just like kind of dump it
Here.
all in one big right in the. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
And then I do this.
Oh, these scrapers are just amazing. They make me so happy how cleanly
I
it just.
know.
All right. Good. That's out. Yay.
Okay, now I'm doing now.
It's not on the floor. It's not half in the oven. It's all on the cutting board. Perfect. Okay, great.
Yay. Okay, so then I just take about this in flour and just dust it over the top. So it
This is a
doesn't
ton of
stick to
flour.
you.
I never would have imagined quite this much either to dust or put on top. Okay.
Well,
All right. Hold on. Let me get
you can put a little less and just add as you need. Yeah.
Yep. Now let me get a photo just for the. And my iPhone's going to be covered in stuff. All right.
Welcome to my world. iPhone, computer, my laptop. You should see my computer, my laptop right now. Oh, sorry, it's Matt's. No, it's. Yeah.
Okay. I am
best is when
floured
you-
top and
the-
bottom.
The best is when you like, sit down for dinner and your spouse says, "What's in your hair?" Okay, now you're just going to do this again, very lightly. You don't want to knead it like it's dough, like it's bread. You're just going to kind of very lightly roll it around and just give it shape. And you're going to see that just rolling it back around like this, it's going to smooth almost immediately. Does yours do that? Answer the phone. Thank you.
Okay.
There. And it's smooth and you can tell it's light. How's yours?
Good. It's hold on, I'll show you. It's so you don't even ever. You're just essentially tossing it, right? I mean, hold on, let me figure out how
Yeah,
to show you.
you're pressing
Can you
it
see it
very,
there?
very light. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect, and it looks the same size as mine, which means you didn't press it down. Okay, so this is where we're going to make it into a ball or a log or whatever, and just cut it in half, in 2 parts. It's sticky inside, but I'll tell you how to resolve that. Okay. So you have 2.
Yes.
And we are going to freeze 1. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the cut half, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the inside part that's sticky, you're just going to bring the outside that's drier around and kind of stick it together, the sticky part. So
cool.
Yeah. And make it into a little disc. Make it into a little disc, and we're going to freeze 1. So just wrap it in plastic wrap and then put it in a freezer bag and freeze it. And when you want scones, you'll take it out of the freezer the night before, put it in the fridge, let it defrost in the fridge, and then take it out the next morning and wait until it's, it might need a little extra, a little padding in the flour, but...
Okay.
Or you can put it in the... Yeah. Okay, see, I have mine, and it's going to join the other one that I put in this morning.
I have very contradictory impulses to be both a neat freak, which necessitates washing my hands to get off all the dough and flour, which is completely at odds with, efficient cooking process. So I am...
I'm going to show you a secret that I shared with my first podcast guest. When you're working and you don't want to keep washing your hands, but you have a lot of clumpy dough on it, look what you do. You take a little bit of flour, like a tablespoon of flour, and you do this, and it gets the clumps of flour off, clumps of dough off.
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
There you go.
Okay.
So
Great
your
tip. That's fantastic.
Okay, so your second half, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to fold it around so the sticky part kind of meets and sticks to itself. And you're going to form it into another disc. And it's kind of a weird texture. Okay.
How thick, how deep do you want that disc?
Okay, so you're going to form a disc, and then you're going to move that disc to your parchment paper, your parchment lined, mine doesn't drop on the floor. Okay, so I have my parchment lined baking sheet.
Okay.
And I'm moving my disc. For the moment, you just want it even.
Okay.
Okay. Then, see what I always work with? I'm a former milliner, so I have about 40 tape measures. I always work with a tape measure. And so you're going to want to take your rolling pin and just very, very, very gently and just brush it with a little flour if you think it's going to stick to your rolling pin. And just it's really, really soft, so make sure you don't press down on your rolling pin. You just want to really gently roll it out a little bit till it's trying to keep it round until it's about 7 inches in diameter. So it's going to be about 3/4 an inch to an inch thick, maybe a little bit less. Wait a sec.
And so you're okay.
So
I see what you're doing.
It's not very big. So okay, this is.
Now, if I have little cracks in it, like just small fissures, is that okay, or do I want to flip that? I guess it's not
yeah, bad. I wouldn't worry about it the first. You'll get the hang of it the next time you do it, and the next time. So this is what mine looks like. That's about 7 inches in diameter.
I'm getting there. I don't think I'm quite. Well, I'm almost there.
So mine's about. Oh, actually, I have a tape measure. Mine ends up being about a little more than 1/2 inch thick. So you don't want to make it real flat.
So there's mine.
Okay. Okay. So, perfect. So now you have, I use this kind of knife.
Okay, like a full chef's knife.
Yeah, you just want a knife that's kind of a little, almost as long as the the disc. And you're going to dip it into your flour. And we're going to cut it into 8 wedges. So I dip mine into the flour and just cut it in half.
Show me.
And if you flour your knife, you can kind of wiggle it when you cut it to kind of separate the wedges.
Okay, so I'm flouring my knife. And so you do one cut across the entirety.
I cut
so
one
you're
across.
You're doing 4
right.
cuts, not 8 half cuts.
Right, I'm doing one that separates it into 2. The knife perpendicular to do another cut that cuts it into 4, or actually, there I start to do half. I do 3, and then I go to the other side.
Are you, between each cut, like I have a little dough on the knife, do you clean that off with butter, or do you just leave it?
No, just dip it in your flour.
Okay.
And just kind of, separate your wedges slightly if you can. If not, don't worry about it. And then each of your 4 big wedges, you're going to cut in half again. And because your disc is on parchment, just go ahead and turn your parchment paper around to make it easier.
Oh, oops, too late. Yeah, because I was like, how the heck do I do this up against the edge of the edge of the pan or sheet?
Okay.
All right.
So now I have this. Okay. Ooh.
Yep, I have. Stand by.
Okay, so we have our disc cut into 8 even wedges.
Oh, no, it's fine. It just banged into some. So here is mine.
Oh, perfect. Oh, God, yours is really perfect. Okay, very lightly brush off any extra flour that's on top, because now we're going to kind of do an egg white wash.
Okay.
With. Ooh.
Now,
with an
when
egg
I saw
white
in the recipe,
and a
you
brush.
kind of pull the wedges apart a little bit. Do we do that before or after the wash?
Before, when you cut it, you kind of wiggle your
Okay.
knife back and forth while you're cutting. But yours are, no?
So are they are. I mean, there's a tiny bit, like there's a millimeter separation.
Yeah,
But
well-
like at the center, they're all very much together. There's
Well, you
it's
can go-
scored and they're separate, but they're very much touching in the center.
Well, then go ahead and dip your knife into your flour again and kind of wiggle it in between the slices. And again, just keep dipping it in the flour so it doesn't stick, because what's inside is sticky.
Okay. And so I want to be able, as I look down, I want to be able to see space between these wedges.
Oops, I missed that.
Oh, I was saying when I look down, I want to be able to see space. I mean, not a lot, but I do want them distinct and separate.
I
The
have, well,
wedges.
mine are like, some of mine are more, I see more space in between than others. But I don't
Okay.
worry about it too
All
much.
right.
Because once it comes out of the oven, they're kind of, oops. Once it comes out of the oven, it's going to have, they're going to have puffed up and risen, so they're going to stick together again, and you just
Got
cut
it.
them apart
Okay.
with a knife or your hands. So
Okay.
now we're just going to brush them with the egg white all over. Not too much, but enough to coat them. I mean, basically
just need to
it's...
separate my egg now. Now, why just the white? I've glazed with an entire white and yolk wash, but never just a white.
Yeah. I'm going to be perfectly honest and tell you I don't know, because they do different things, but like I said, I haven't done this recipe for my cookbook for a long time. I do my other scone recipe, which is almost the same, but I do that one with an egg wash, with a whole egg. So I should have I should have
Oh, no,
tried to
you know what I'll do?
understand why.
I will, with my remaining half, I will wash it with an entire egg and see if there's a difference.
Oh,
Or
good,
if I
and you
like
let me
this,
know.
or if it's good, I'll just not do it and do the same thing because it was so delicious the first time around. Okay, so how heavy
Do it
a
and say you did.
glaze?
Well, like I said, not not really heavy, but you want it completely coated. Just a very light.
Okay. Okay.
Light get glaze, but the whole top surface. You're going to want the sugar to stick to the... Yeah, I mean, one egg white I think I can use for like 4
okay.
or 6 rounds of these
sugar.
things. I can do it for
I'm
several.
halfway.
I mean, plus they don't... A white... I wouldn't keep a yolk in the fridge for a long time, more than a couple of days. But whites, as long as it smells fresh, you can keep a white in the refrigerator for a few weeks. Okay, I use granulated brown sugar, which is cassonade, but you can use granulated white sugar. When I make my regular scones, my regular plain scones, I use cinnamon sugar for the top. And just do a light, dust them lightly across the top.
All right. So
We're almost done.
Done. Granulated white sugar.
Okay, ready. I'm going to check the temperature of my oven because I have to use a... Oh yeah, I think it's a little hot, this oven. Take that out. Okie doke.
Okay,
We'll put them in at the same
375,
time so we
right?
can time it.
Okay,
And then I have a question for...
I'm a little hot as well, but that should be going down to about 375. So, okay, I'm ready when you're ready.
Yeah, okay.
Let me take a
You've
photo again so we
dusted
have
it.
the before.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. So you did that with... It's dusted with sugar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's my before. All right. I am ready.
Okay, here we go. In the
All right.
oven.
I should have asked. Top shelf, middle shelf, doesn't matter.
Usually center of the oven.
Great. Done.
And I am going to say it is 453. Okay, here's the thing. As someone that's worked in investigations in the FBI for 22 years, do you trust Siri and Alexa? Because
I don't like the idea of anything that is capable of recording either a microphone or a camera around me. Now, we all carry phones, which obviously do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all depends on what, if it improves your quality of life and you use it a lot, I would say use it. I would also caution that there are so many things that, our televisions, increasingly, appliances that have some sort of voice recognition or other stuff that I don't like it, but I can see the utility. And at the end of the day, it's, most people, if you're, it's the question of the value of your privacy. And some people just are absolutely, favor that. And even despite the loss of the convenience of having, Siri or Alexa set a timer for whatever. But I mean, I think in general, like with big companies, you're generally safe. Certainly, a Google, I trust. Foreign made televisions and electronics, maybe less so.
Right, because my son Justin gave me a phone with Siri on it, and I just hate saying, Siri, set the timer for 25 minutes.
On the other hand, it's
and then
very...
she answers me.
it works and it is helpful. And again, that's the just, the convenience that you get. Just always keep in mind that you've got this device that's capable of picking up
Hearing
everything in the
you.
background. Right. My scones, and I won't get back to the
I'm
point I
leaving
was
mine
making
in for about 1 or 2 more minutes because they're beautiful, but they're
They look
slightly
lovely.
pale.
Yep, they're all. Yes, agreed.
I just pressed in the center. Oh, they're probably done. They're beautiful though. Are yours risen?
They are. I'm going
good.
to, and they're golden brown. I can probably let them get a little darker, but I don't think I want.
Yeah. Okay. Let's leave it in for like 2 more minutes.
Okay.
So I have. Okay. I'm gonna wait till 5:23.
Okay, mine is getting really not dark brown on
Okay.
top, but I'm going to pull mine out just because
Okay.
I think they're
I'll take mine
done.
out. I'll take mine out
Oh,
too.
they
The
look
thing is-
lovely, and they're all
now
risen.
I'm-
Let me.
Wait, where's my other mitt? Oops, wait, I've got to take this out. Ah, okay, wait, hold on, I lost you completely. Okay, I'm gonna grab the tray. Oops. Oh, these are really
yeah.
beautiful.
Do I want to? I suppose I want to move it over to a cooling tray, right?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna put
Or
mine
do
on
I?
top of the stove. So you can either, I usually leave mine, I never even thought about it. I just usually leave my tray on the top of the stove, but you can actually slide the parchment off onto a cooling rack. But scones are better when they're a little bit warm, not hot, but a little bit warm. But this recipe is usually good. It's still very good the following day if you want them for breakfast, if they last. Which is why when I cut the dough in 2, I'll put one in the refrigerator, not the freezer, and I'll bake the second batch the following day. Because there's
How long
only
will
8
that-
of them.
Yeah. How long will that keep in the fridge?
Probably just a couple of days. Dough like that has a tendency to kind of change color more than anything, like it oxidizes, but I'd probably make it in either tomorrow or the day after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. When, so how long do I need to wait? Do I need to can I break them apart now, or is it need to let them cool a little bit? I'm very excited to
No,
to
you
try
can
one of
probably
these.
you can probably take your knife and like cut one apart. Wait, hold on a sec. Let me see if I can move my whole equipment over. Oh, here's a knife. Okay, look, I will show it. Oops, I will show. This is what they look like.
Yeah, perfect. Let me show you mine, which look very
Yeah.
similar. I'm sorry, I'm just washing off the knife right now.
I'm gonna check the ones I baked. Yeah, they're really hot and oh, they're beautiful. The beautiful. You can see
lovely.
all
Look at that.
all the like the layers of. But it's hot.
I'll wait a little bit. There's mine.
But I'm hoping you taste it. Oh, perfect.
So let me cut.
Yeah. Anyway,
And
yours
so
are.
did you cut
yours
a
are-
wedge out, or did you just cut straight
I
across?
No, I cut a wedge out. I kind of just like
Let me
wiggled
find
it
one
in.
that I want and
Yeah,
do
see?
that.
I have a perfect wedge.
That's lovely.
Now, in the cookbook, there's a recipe for orange
Yeah, like a
spiced
butter, right?
Butter,
Hmm.
yeah. That is very good. That you let your butter soften till it's creamy. You kind of, even just with a fork or a whisk, you can mix the other ingredients in and then put it in the fridge to firm up just a little bit. And you serve that on the warm scones. And it's worth it. Wow, yours rose nice.
Yeah, they look fabulous. So let me put this. Oh, it's lovely.
Yes.
And it smells fantastic too. So there is the
Perfect.
slice. And let me just put this down here.
Wait, hold on. Oops. Can I see a close-up of the inside, the wedge?
Yep.
Wait, I
Mhm.
lost your...
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
Hold
yep.
on. See if I can turn this
There.
around. Oops, is that-
Oh, good. Nice.
And then
Nice.
there's. It looks a little. Yeah, I guess.
It
sorry,
might
I'm
have...
trying to
I
find
don't
it.
know. It's hard to... it's so hard to tell.
Did it
Once it
rise
cools...
enough?
Oh, yeah. It looks exactly like mine.
Good. Yeah. Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
Good.
And
All
then
right,
of course you can add dried fruit to the dry ingredients before you rub in the butter or after you rub in the butter. Add dried fruit or chocolate chips or whatever. Oh, I'm waiting for your reaction. I'm just going.
Oh, fabulous. It's delicious. It's really, really good. And you're right. Warm is the way to go. So it cooled. I was worried if it
Oops.
had cooled enough, but certainly at this point, having taken it out of the oven, it's the sweet spot to eat. That's lovely.
Good, yeah.
Crunchy on top.
Yeah,
You can taste the sugar. It's really, really good.
and they're barely sweet. They're not very sweet.
Orange is there. Not too much.
Mhm.
It's great.
You added orange extract to yours?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So it's probably a little stronger than
I did.
mine.
So I have both the zest and the extract. Cardamom is there in the background, not too strong at all. It's very nice. It's great.
So, oh, good. Your new skill. Yay. Now you can. Now you make them every Sunday.